The Core API is a tool that allows to retrieve data from the TBFY knowledge graph. It is organized around REST principles and it is composed of 27 basic resources which are divided into 5 main groups, considered as first-level resources. They are awards, contracts, contracting processes, organizations, and tenders. In the following table, you can see for each group which will be the related resource in the API. There are two ways to access the data. The first one is directly through the browser in this domain, in which a welcome message will be shown when it is ready. If we want to obtain the list of tenders, the only thing that we have to do is to use the resource tender. We can also apply filters to the list. In this case, we will get the list of tenders that contain IBM in the title. We can check that the list has been filtered according to the parameter used. If we want to know more information about a specific tender, all we have to do is add in the URL the identifier of the tender to the resource. For each first-level resource, in this case the tenders, we can also obtain several second-level resources, such as the list of items related to the specific tender, including the classification and the schema used for this classification. Another information that we can get is the list of documents related to the tender, where we can find information about the URL, language, and type of the document. Finally, in the same way as the previous second-level resources, a list with all the contracting processes in which the tender takes part can also be shown. The second way to access the data is through the Swagger API interface, which is available at this URI. In this Swagger visualization, we can find the 27 resources at a single glance, and within each one of them, we can see all the filters that can be applied. Required fields will be indicated with an asterisk. Now, we are going to reproduce the same previous example in which we are going to obtain a list of tenders, but that contain the sequence of characters IBM in the title. As you can see, we have obtained the search list in which the fields ID, title, description, status, and creation date are displayed. Swagger also allows us to download the results in a JSON file. Our next step will be to obtain the information of a specific tender. So we are going to use the ID of the first result and we are going to enter it in the resource identifier parameter, which, as it is mandatory, is marked with an asterisk as mentioned above. Using Swagger, we can also know the requested URI that we can put in a browser. Once we have obtained all the information on the tender, the next step will be to get the information from the second level resources related to items, contracting processes, and documents. Starting with the items, we have to enter again the identifier in the required box, and after executing the query, the list of items will be shown with information about the description and the schema used. Other information that we can obtain as a second level resource is the list of contracting processes associated to the tender. The process is the same as the previous one. We enter the identifier, run the query, and obtain the list with the information about the identifier of the contracting process and the creation date. Finally, the last second level resource we can get from this tender is the list of documents. It is the same process and we obtain the list with the identifier, the type of document, language, and URI where it can be found. So far, we have seen how to use basic API resources. The real power of this API is being able to build added value services in combination with other tools on the platform. We will show how to combine the Search API with the Core API, so given an initial text in a language, we will get a list of awarded organizations that participated in similar contracting processes in the same or different language. To achieve this, a Python notebook has been created with the Google Collaboratory, which, using a form, we start from a text in Italian and, using the Search API, we are going to obtain the related documents in English. First, we execute the first form, which calls to the Search API, requesting the 5 more similar documents in English. The next step is to get the tenders related to these documents. For that, the notebook makes the query to the Core API. The list of tenders is displayed with all the needed information. Once we have the list of tenders, we need to know the organizations that have participated in these tenders. So, the notebook makes again the query to the Core API. Once we have retrieved all the data, the organizations are displayed with its name, the name of the award, and the description of the tender. Finally, we will show the Python code used and how easily 3 calls to the Core API can be made. The first one to obtain all the contracting processes, the second one to return the awards, and finally another one to get the final list of organizations. If anyone is interested in taking a test drive, this notebook is available at TBFY GitHub.